I'm doing well, thank you. No work for now.
Hi, how are you doing? I can't believe today we've shut down. I guess that means no work for you, right? Right, right. So I currently work at NIH. We currently operate 27 institutes. Yes, and the branch I work under is NIAID, which stands for National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases. My specialty is really working for the solution of overcoming AIDS, and so that's really what my goal is. Yes, I do work for him. Yes, I know he's well known. He's a famous man. He's on CNN all the time. Yes, I've only worked there for a brief time of 1 year, but I really moved here for the NPA program here at Gallaudet. Yes, so I was lucky to get that job on top of being here at Gallaudet, but I'm curious to hear more about your job, 508.
Yes, I'm what's called the Section 508 coordinator for the Department of Defense. And in that job, our office works to ensure that any information technology that we buy is accessible to persons with disabilities. And there are a number of ways to go about doing that, but a lot of our job is an education role in terms of making both the IT and the acquisition people aware of the requirement that they can't just buy anything. They need to buy IT that will be accessible to persons with disabilities. The cap
Yes, I actually have equipment that I bought from I believe it was the CAP program. CAP, yeah, the CAP program. It's the same idea, right?
It's a Department of Defense program. That's correct. I was talking about it earlier here. The CAP's been around for 20, 22 years, I think, and centrally funded. And, um, and you're a perfect example of someone outside of the DoD who is actually getting their assistive technology from CAP, because CAP actually has been so successful that they are providing some. Technologies across the government.
Well, I'm glad to have shared that with you because I mean I use that technology every day. And working at NIH, I thank them because I mean it's been so wonderful working there. They have great technology, you know, wonderful interpreting services, and my boss is awesome to work with. I know some people work at the DoD. I know myself, so that work at Department of Defense, and I know they're more like military centered based, but where I work at NIH is more like people centered. So I wonder what's your experience working at DoD, but you've seen people who are disabled that are working there.
My experience, yes. When I came into the government, the office I worked in, there was a woman with, she was legally blind, and she had the large screen and screen readers, technology of 19, gosh, what was it, 91. You know, technology certainly improved a lot since then. But
And do you like it?
she was very successful in the office and really enjoyed it. And I worked very closely with a fellow by the name of Mark Rue from the CAP office and REW. And he is the he is the chief of the blind low vision team there, and he's terrific and been such a help to me in my office in terms of helping us, connecting us with people who are having difficulties. A lot of times we've gotten referrals, let's say a person. With disabilities is working on a piece of software that isn't cooperating with the assistive technology. A lot of times they'll go to the CAP office, they'll go to Mark. If they're blind, they'll go to Mark because they know he works blind or vision issues. He'll bring them to me so that we can get them addressed. So we have a good relationship with the CAP and we'd be really lost without them actually. Because they're great. If people don't know where to go, a lot of times they'll go first to the CAP and then they'll come to us.
So I wonder where you work. Are you possibly looking for people who have IT, information technology skills, or because I myself have a lot of administration skills. So are you looking for people like that, or with people with disabilities?
Of course, yeah. There's no limit to the sort of jobs that are open in the department, and no disability is limiting because of the CAP program being there. Anything that you might need or any prospective employee, we would just find out from that what are the tools you use, in your daily. When it comes to the computer say. And then we'll make sure that we can get those for you through the CAP program. But certainly, yeah, the DoD, this is absolutely a wide open area.
Oh, really? That's great. So recently, I went to a training for being a purchaser. Having purchasing power for the government, and Yes, and it was interesting because I found out in that training how a lot of ethics actually go into purchasing products. And it's kind of funny how that thinking applies to my current job because I work a lot with people's personal holdings.
Yeah, and certainly you don't want to,
And how it relates to that purchasing power that they have.
you don't want to be buying something from a company that you own stock in, that kind of thing, where it creates at the very least an appearance of enterprise. When you talked about you went to the training for people to buy stuff, I was thinking we were going to talk about the training that GSA does. The GSA um, does training throughout government for purchasing officers, procurement officials, and it focuses to a great extent on Section 508, on making sure when you are creating your statement of work that you are careful to put into that the Section 508 standards that might apply. And when I was talking earlier today, I believe this, I left out the GSA. They're a huge player in Section 508 in the government because they have a website that you can go to, and it's an accessible website too, where you can develop a statement of work. You type in what it is you're buying, and it will produce for your language. If what you're buying is a piece of software, it will tell you when you create your statement of work, you must say Section 508 standard 1194.21 software applies to this purchase, and that. Way your vendor knows what's expected of them. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that ethics training that you were doing because it was interesting to hear and it got me on track to remember something I wanted to mention about GSA earlier.
Oh, great. Well, then, yeah, and I'm glad the rest of the audience is able to hear that information as well. Yes, and recently I went to a hiring event, and scheduling A is more for people who have disabilities. And even before I could go to the event, I was screened 3 times through the phone and through the email, and finally I was approved that yes, I could go to this scheduling a hiring event. And so I went to the event. Now, I knew that I had 9 different interviews to show up to, and I knew the times, but they didn't tell me exactly which job was for which. So that was interesting. And it was jobs that was GS approved. But as I went through, and it was interviews all day, and I went there right in the morning and had to interview, and it was, I mean, different people. It could have, some jobs were to do with ethics, some had to do with like purchasing. Oh, sorry, past 10-minute mark. Okay, thank